What's up, connoisseurs? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Home to the absolute best MJ community. Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a great weekend. It's August 31st. 1 year anniversary. Yes, exactly, Oilers. It's 1 year anniversary today that HHS came out with a recommendation to move it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. So, good memory. But yeah, we 1 year today. And then we get this news, which is the Trump news. So are we going to see another Trump pump? We'll discuss that in today's video. He has expressed his support for Florida. I mentioned on an interview with Anthony Martinelli of the MJ Herald, that news website, when I interviewed him, it was regarding that source that he had saying that the DA was going to reschedule it by October, but now we know there's a hearing, so not exactly 100% correct, but I still think we're going to see rescheduling, and they're really going to pump it into October. And now Trump coming out, I mentioned in that video as well, I was like, well, I can't imagine him not supporting it. Why would he say he has an announcement just to say, oh, I don't support it? Like, it wouldn't make any sense, right? So it was the most likely scenario. We just didn't know the timing. And like I said, the charts were saying that leading into September, the end of September, October is when we're really going to start to heat up and the show will begin. And here we are just 1 day away from September. And it's a long weekend, so hope you're enjoying your long weekend. We're going to get started here in about 30 seconds. Bit of a last-minute stream here today, so we'll give people about a half a minute to jump on. Thanks for joining the stream, everybody. I see we have a ton of people flying in. So, Daniel, thanks for joining. Oilers, we'll get to the Copperman, exciting news. Yeah, we'll get to the chat here in a moment. We'll go through the news, and I'll give my thoughts and opinions on this, and we'll get started here in about 15 seconds. All right, let's get started. First of all, do we have any Floridians in the house? Because things are about to get awesome in Florida. Not that they aren't already awesome, because Florida is one of the best states in the U.S., in my opinion. I've been there, I don't even know how many times. At least I'd have to count on two hands how many times I've been there. I'd say it's close to a dozen. I went the last 3 years running and absolutely love it there. They have a great MJ community. It reminds me a lot of Alberta, to be honest, Canada, and obviously a lot warmer and a lot nicer, and it's got palm trees. So, but yeah, definitely love Florida. I think this is great news. Trump supporting Florida adult use legalization in Amendment 3. He believes that voters are going to approve it. So we'll get into the news, but I don't think this came as a surprise. As I mentioned in the interview with Anthony Martinelli, which is the editor and founder of the MJ Herald, he said, he agreed with me, right? It's like, why would he wait to say that he has an announcement to make on Florida if it wasn't he was in agreement? There's no way he'd just build up anticipation to be like, no, I don't support it, right? It just doesn't make any logical or common sense, right? So before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future live streams such as this or when I post new content. Also, this is not financial advice. You should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. This is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm not a financial advisor. Also, shout out to all the new channel members. We've got a ton of members lately, and member-only videos, and there's a bunch of other perks as well. You can join, check that out. But really do appreciate all of the support along the way. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And something interesting I found out, they're actually working on a YouTube competitor product. So that's going to be exciting to see as X rolls out the Everything app. So this is the MJ Moment article that broke this morning. Trump supports Florida MJ legalization ballot measure, but wants lawmakers to ban public smoking. So this is a good thing. Like, obviously, we don't want it in the streets. It's already around the streets. If you walk through New York or wherever, right? Like even here in Alberta, Canada, like it doesn't matter where you walk. You're always going to smell it, but it's not legal, right? You're only allowed to smoke it inside your domicile. Like you're not supposed to smoke it in the public. Same thing with drinking. You're not supposed to drink in public. So it's not like we're not used to this, right? It's common sense. It's already happening in Canada, and yes, you'll smell it from time to time, but it's not like it's everywhere, right? You don't look out your window and see a cloud of smoke, right? So it's not the end of the world, and that's just common sense. Like, of course, we shouldn't allow it in public, unless it's like a public area where it's designated for it, right? Same thing with smoking, same thing with drinking. You need to get a permit, and you need to get a specific type of license, right? So it's simple common sense. So former President Donald Trump said on Saturday that he believes voters in the home state of Florida will approve an MJ legalization, and that's where he lives, right? Initiative on the November ballot, arguing that someone should not be a criminal in Florida while this is legal in so many other states, right? 38 states are legal in some form, and then 24, this could become the 25th state. So that basically half of the United States already legal at the adult use level, right? Eventually, it's just a matter of when, not if, right? Trump added that current policy ruins lives, wastes taxpayer dollars, and puts people at risk of dying from MJ tainted with fentanyl. So we mentioned on the channel as well that JD Vance had said that, the MJ bags are laced with fentanyl. So again, all the more reason to, and that was actually kind of a precursor and foreshadowing of this event, because as we know, it's his VP running mate. So, the fact that he's saying that actually means that they could be in favor of, legalizing it and having safe and controlled, quality assured, right, different types of products. So that's exactly what we're seeing here now, is they're using that rhetoric. It's actually the opposite. People thought it was bad. it was the exact opposite. It's actually a good thing. So we want people to be safe, right? Trump added, former president wants lawmakers to follow up on legalization if voters approve it. However, by passing a law to ban public MJ consumption. Again, this is the same thing that Canada has done, and it's just common sense. In Florida, like so many other states that have already given their approval, personal amounts of MJ will be legalized for adults with Amendment 3, Trump said in a post on his social media site, Truth Social. Whether people like it or not, this will happen through the approval of voters, so it should be done correctly. And that's a bold statement, but it's also a great statement, because this is democracy. This is love for the American people. And I'm not getting political. I don't care which side of the fence you're on. I'm Canadian. I can't vote anyway, blah, blah, blah. But, this is pro, democracy. This is pro common sense. This is pro America. This is pro humanitarian, right? Like, give the people what they want. You work for the people. Like, these people who are saying all this stupid stuff about it and myths and, just it's going to create like zombies in the streets and things like that. Like, go shake your head, like go to bed and stop running for office. You shouldn't even be in office. Like, you should be in a mental asylum as far as I'm concerned. Like, these people are just terrible, terrible human beings, right? But they're obviously just talking about the incumbents. They're being lobbied by the big tobacco, big alcohol, big pharma, etc., trying to slow the industry down while they get their paws all over it, right? We need the state legislature to responsibly create laws to prohibit the use of the public spaces so we do not smell MJ everywhere we go like we do in many other Democrat-run cities. So he takes a jab at the Dems. At the same time, someone should not be a criminal in Florida when this is legal in so many other states. We do not need to ruin lives, waste taxpayer dollars, arresting adults with personal amounts of it on them, and no one should grieve a loved one because they died from fentanyl-laced MJ, right? So absolutely. We need to make America safe again. They talked, JFK said, make America healthy again. We know JFK is supporting Trump now, endorsing Trump, and he supports MJ. There's so much going on. I mentioned in my video yesterday, I think it was the hearing could be positive. Yeah. I mentioned in that one that, we could see this come out very, very soon. This news come out with Trump supporting Florida, and literally just a couple days later it came out. So on the 1 year anniversary of that HHS, exactly, Oilers agreed to move it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. So Florida Senator Joe Gruters, a former state Republican Party chairman, cheered Trump's support for legalization. I am incredibly proud to have President Trump stand alongside us in our effort to end needless arrests and incarcerations for adults for simple possession of MJ, and to give Floridians the same individual freedom to choose safe, tested products that more than half of the country already enjoys. So kudos to Trump on that. Absolutely. Trump signals support for Florida recreational MJ, says passage is inevitable. This is from USA Today, reported by Yahoo News. Let's just go through this one, see if there's anything saying legalization is inevitable. Absolutely. And federal legalization is inevitable, right? It's once, like, over half of the U.S., right? 38 states legal in some form. This could be the 25th state, so half the U.S. legal at adult use level. It's just a matter of time, right? It is inevitable, and I think it's going to happen at some point over the next few years, right? Maybe by the next election, we'll see. Maybe shortly after the next election, but I think rescheduling is the most likely scenario. We do have a lot of bills going through Congress at the moment to fully deschedule. So the CAOA, you got the MORE Act, you got the States Act. So there's lots of support for descheduling as well, and we saw that in the comments, right, in the public comments. So anybody who's an MJ advocate or who is supporting rescheduling knows that that's not the end goal, right? That's a good step. It's a good milestone and stepping stone into the real deal, which is to deschedule, right? Everybody knows that that's the ultimate goal. So it goes on. They just kind of repeat what they said. I want to see if there's something else. Yeah, they talk about abortion. So a statement follows a muddled response to the abortion access amendment, rather. That's also coming before Florida voters in November, after making it appear like he was open to the measure, which could overturn the state's 6-week abortion ban. Trump came out in opposition Friday. His support also runs contrary to the position of Florida Republican Party Ron DeClown, who is working alongside 2 political committees to beat back the amendment. So the Amendment 3 would allow non-medical MJ possession up to 3 ounces and no more than 5 grams in concentrated form for those 21 years old and up. That's only if it gets 60% of the vote, obviously. Okay, let's just see if there's anything else. Yeah, Trump's support could prove pivotal for meeting that 60% threshold. I agree. Because if you remember, and before I jump into that, DeSantis doubles down on opposition to Florida MJ legalization as state and national polls show bipartisan support. Like, this guy is an absolute clown. How much money is he getting paid in lobbying dollars and campaign donations from these big alcohol, big pharma, big tobacco to squash this? Because this guy is obviously not a complete imbecile. Like, he doesn't belong in clown school, even though everything that he does and says basically says that he runs clown school. But at the end of the day, he's not an idiot. He's obviously taking campaign donations. He's working for the incumbents. Has to be, right? And then, as Forbes promoted here, this is back in July 8th, Florida MJ legalization bill headed to victory, polls suggest. And then from the MJ Herald, Florida poll shows 57% of voters support Amendment 3 to legalize MJ. Just 34% are opposed. And they go on to say, I think it was 9% of voters remain undecided. So now that we have this news, Trump supporting Florida recreational MJ, this is going to get it across the finish line, in my opinion. That 9%, I always said that I believed it's going to come somewhere around the mid 60% passage. And if we're at 57% now, the Public Policy Polling, PPP survey, found that support for Amendment 3 adult use recreational legalization, 57%. And then 9%, that puts us at 68%. And then if we get, it's probably going to be, I think it's going to be somewhere around 65%, right? So we'll see what happens. But that's 66%, sorry. So yeah, if we get, I think somewhere around 62 to 65% is probably where it's probably going to be like a nail biter, I think. But who knows? Maybe we come in around 68, 70%, but it's hard to say right now that Trump's coming out and supporting it as well. This could be a very good majority at this point. Hard to say. What does everybody else think? I think it's still going to come somewhere around that 65% in favor of it. But it's gonna. This was the push that we needed, right? This is exactly what we needed to get this across the finish line. So overall, this is fantastic news. Interesting timing, that it came out over a long weekend and Labor Day weekend. So I hope everyone is enjoying their weekend, and this should add to that. So go grab yourself an XMG, go grab yourself a Molo or something, and Molo out and support of this. But yeah, absolutely amazing. I also posted on the community page. I went and grabbed a bag of the new Redican Space Age cake. Oh my God. Everybody needs to try this stuff. It's heavenly. It's uber potent. The second you rip the tear up, it's 30%, $59 tax included for 14 grams. That's Canadian. So you're talking about like what, $45 USD for 14 grams. This is a 10 out of 10, man. Like, oh my God, it's you got to try it. Absolute best flower I've tried from Redican yet. It's an indica. And just imagine and Tilray's almost profitable, right? Like, they're not too far. Like, what are they, like 2 or 3 quarters out before being profitable? And in the U.S., the average cost of an ounce is like $200 to $300 US, right? Which is like insane, right? You can get an ounce here in Canada for like Quad A, great quality, for $100 to $150 Canadian, which is like 75 to 125 USD, right? So, just wait until these LPs start selling into the US, and there's already like operators in the US who are complaining that prices, like some of the prices are coming down to like $199 an ounce, and people are complaining about it. They're saying we can't become profitable. We're struggling, right? This price compression and this price war is is basically putting people out of business. So just imagine when these LPs who are almost driving profitability, right? There's some companies that are already profitable in Canada. Just imagine when they go into the U.S., this $300 ounce business, not going to last very long. Like that, it's pretty stupid when you think about it. So these 50-60% margins, yes, Schedule 3 would remove 280E, but what people aren't factoring in is that, you know, these companies are already starting to sell in the U.S. Like look at Canopy through the exchangeable shares, and they're already an MSO essentially through Acreage. We know that Tilray is going to be launching their Hemp 9 Delta 9 hemp formulation soon. Going to start in Texas. They're going to be into Florida more than likely after this adult use legalization. If it does get passed right in November, it's probably not going to get enacted into the summer of 2025. So yeah, it's an exciting time. I own MSOs. I'm very bullish on Curaleaf as well. That's my number one MSO holding. I think they're going to do very, very well. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome time ahead. Like at the end of the day, just look at what's happening, right? It's being accepted. These campaigns, these political campaigns are going to pump the ever-loving hell out of it, in my opinion, leading into October and November. And like Boris Jordan said of Curaleaf, they're going to want to wait till as close to the election as possible. Usually around a month and a half is the sweet spot. Because as we know, people have been ruined by TikTok and our memories are like that of a goldfish. So you have to wait a month or two. And like I've been saying for a while now, they're going to pivot. The Dems are going to pivot on crypto. Then everybody's going to be like, oh, I'm no longer a one-issue voter. Right now I got to choose. Now I have a choice to make. And then they're going to choose between who's the best for crypto. And then now they're going to both pump MJ leading into the elections, and then they're really going to have a decision to make. And sure enough, that's exactly what we've been seeing. So, and I don't think it's even, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. I think we're going to see a crazy amount of pumping of MJ. First, it's probably going to continue to be crypto over the next few weeks, I think. And then we might even see some crypto legislation with regards to stablecoins and stuff like that. But I think, you know, into October, end of October, it's going to be MJ go time. So quite interesting. He chose Saturday morning, a Labor Day weekend, to announce now to see who picks it up and promotes before the market open. New York Times, Reuters, NBC, and more already did. Yep, exactly. USA Today, Yahoo seems to be going everywhere. I mean, it's Trump, right? They got lots of time to pump this. And SPY's actually a daily bull flag as well. I mentioned this in my video on Tilray yesterday. We just take a look here on the daily time frame for SPY. It's red, but it should be green because it means bull flag. So yeah, we're actually targeting, and the monthly bull flag on SPY is targeting 620, and we have another daily bull flag targeting 597. So this should be some nice tailwinds into next week. And we closed at the high of the day, just knocking on about $1 away from all-time highs on the S&P 500. And remember when I did this video, go to live, scroll down. I said bull run over after the Japan stock market crash and they increased rates. I said bull run over, and I said absolutely not. And right after that, we rallied almost 11%, and we're now knocking on the all-time high door for the S&P 500. And I posted that video 3 weeks ago saying that the bull run wasn't over, right? And this is going to be good for MJ, in my opinion. And we're starting to see risk on back in the markets. The Fed's cut rates. Historically, Q4, October's a great month for stocks and risk on. And it's an election year. So giddy up, strap in, because we're about to get it's about to get interesting. Enjoy the show. A lot of influences picking it up already too, but the biggest fish, Elon, Joe Rogan, and more haven't yet. Good observation for sure. Good to see the red state opinion, peace, and overall conservative support rallying around. Absolutely. Yeah. So 1 year today, HHS recommended moving it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Exciting news, you bet. We got Matt in the house. We got Ro. Does MSOS rally or still leg down? It is a bear flag. So if we bring up MSOS here on the daily time frame, it's still a daily bear flag. SPY's a daily bull flag. So that might help negate this. But if we don't get over 667 on MSOS, that 0.32 fib there, then it's a potential for a daily bear flag. So if we get above 667, then we'll no longer expect this daily bear flag and downward continuation. But key support is going to be 599. Lose that. If we don't get above 667 and negate it, and then we lose 599 critical support, then we confirm the bear flag, and then the measured move, you just take your high to the low there, move it out to your 0.382 fib, and it's saying we're targeting about 512. So even if we do see one more potential leg down, which I don't think is the most likely scenario anymore. I mentioned that I didn't think MSOS was going to go below $5, And if it did, it'd be very short-lived. Look what we hit, 5.99, and now we got this Trump news. Trump loves to do this. Trump loves to time news. Remember back whenever he would say China, 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 a trade deal, the stock market would be crashing. He'd be like, oh, don't worry, we got a positive update on the trade deal. Like he's a master manipulator. He knows markets. He's a businessman, right? He's a finance guy too. So he knows how to manipulate markets. And in my opinion, this isn't a coincidence. And like I said, I didn't think MSOS was going to go below $5 again. At least, not before this bull market is over in the broader market. And sure enough, we hit $5.99 and we get this amazing news, right? So just makes you wonder, right? But yeah, we could still potentially see another leg down, which would mean about another 14% of downside, but it's all about support and resistance. So key resistance 667, break that. We're no longer expecting that leg down. And if we don't break above it and lose $5.99, then it confirms the daily bear flag and we're targeting about $5.12. So hopefully that answers your question. I would expect this to absolutely skyrocket on Tuesday, to be honest. It'll depend on the broader market as well, and then obviously any news that comes out between then. But like I said, it's looking like it's going to bode well for MJ Bulls because we have that daily bull flag on the S&P 500. We closed at near the high of the day and within $1 of the all-time high essentially. So like I said, 597 on SPY, which means we could see another upside of about 6%. And then if you zoom out to the monthly on SPY, it's actually a monthly bull flag as well. You go from your low to the high here. Here's your flag. And then there's the pole. And it's saying we could be targeting 622 on the S&P 500. And then I took the .com fractal, and I think we're going to see probably one of the worst market crashes in history with regards to the broader market. But it would still bring us down to around 334, which we hit 210 in March of 2020. So we would still, if we just zoom out, right, if we go to 210 that we hit in March 2020, and then let's say we do bottom out around 300 or 200, high twos, that's still 57% higher than we were in March 2020. So time is running out for the broader market, which I've already done a video as well on how would MJ hold up if the broader market, was that a live stream or was it just right here. So how will MJ hold up if the market crashes? So how will the MJ sector hold up if the stock market crashes? Check that out for my thoughts and opinions on that. Let's go. We got Jam in the house. Who's next? We got Oilers again. New York City smells a lot. Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous that this MJ issue is political to begin with, just a way for the government to manipulate the market. Way to go, Trump. Absolutely. I think this is great. RFK backing Trump as well. So it's looking like go time for the MJ industry, honestly. But yeah, it's ridiculous when, 70% of the nation in the U.S. supports legalization in some form. Like, come on. It's anti-America. It's anti the people. The people have spoken. They give them what they want. Ryan in the house. I live in Denver, a Democrat city. We don't smell it here that much. Yeah, I did. I visited Denver a couple of years ago. I actually did some videos on it when I was in there. I tried a bunch of products and I did some reviews on the channel. You can just go to my documentaries playlist. But yeah, I was in Denver, Colorado, and I didn't smell it very much other than me walking around smoking it on the street. I bet you people smelled mine, but I didn't smell other people's. Well, crap. Looks like he just ruined my hopes of buying a rock bottom prices over the next 2 to 3 months. Well, I would say it's still other side. We're still rock bottom. Like Tilray is 20 cents from all-time lows. Yeah, 171, the all-time low at 150. You got Curaleaf has never been lower, really. Like, oh yeah, I guess it was one time in April of 2023. We hit 219, and we just hit 270. So yeah, you're from the all-time highs there on Curaleaf. We're down 85%. So MSOS from the all-time high to current levels, we're down about 88%. So yeah, if you're down 80, 90%, I'm pretty sure that's rock bottom. I don't think you're going to be. I think you'll do just fine buying here, honestly. And you can even draw this support trend line there as well, acting perfectly. Boom. Great news. It would be weird to be forced to average up for once, though, right? What a weird feeling. Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, there's no shortage of deals out there at the moment. Like, even if this thing goes to $5, like, the one thing that, what was the quote? I mentioned it in one of the POW bi-weekly newsletters. The stock market is full of people who know the price of everything but the value of nothing. And who cares if the value of these MJ companies are going to the hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap, which means 100x opportunities, right? Who cares if you get in at $6 or $5, right? Like if they're going to 60, if they're going to $100 plus, right? Who cares if you get in 50 cents cheaper, $1 cheaper, $2 cheaper? Like in the grand scheme of things, it isn't going to matter, right? It's like looking at Amazon, and I've done a video on this as well. If you scroll down, it took the tech industry, so big tech, right after the dot-com era, it took about on average a decade for all of tech companies to bottom out and hit new all-time highs. And I think it's going to be quicker for MJ. But you have to remember, like Amazon in the 2000s after the dot-com days, right? It actually crashed 95%. So it dropped 95%. How long did it take for Amazon to hit a new all-time high after the dot-com days? So we'll go to the high here in 1999. It took over 10 years for us to get, this is a 12-month candle, so everyone represents a year. It took a decade for us to get back to new all-time highs. It actually took Microsoft like 15 years. Okay, so it took a decade for all of the sector to start seeing new all-time highs. Okay, so let's say it crashed 95%. You're basically at that right now with MJ, right? You're at 80 to 90% plus down, right? So who cares if you bought Amazon, and there's splits along the way, but who cares if you bought Amazon at 33 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents? Let's just do the math here. So let's say you got the absolute rock bottom there in 2001. Let's say you bought that bottom. Well, you'd be up 744x. Okay, buying at 27 cents. Okay, let's say you bought at 40 cents. You'd be up 508x. 508x. Okay. So you put $1,000 investment, you'd have $508,000 for every $1,000 invested, right? So yes, it does matter, like, right? If you go from the bottom to the top, that's an extra 230x, right? But 500x, 700x, right? That's still life-changing opportunity. And then, like I said, if we bring up MSFT from its high there in 1999 to the bottom, it didn't see as much of a pullback though, because it was more established, right? Bigger market cap. So it pulled back about 75%. But look how long it took for it to hit a new all-time high. It took 16 years, 17 years. Crazy. So again, who cares if you got in at $13, $14? We're sitting at $417 today, right? So even if you got it at the low there at what is 1487. So if we go to that low there, one rough figure, it's up about 30x, which isn't even that much when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, from the low there to the high, 31x. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. And keep in mind, Apple actually Apple recovered quicker than the other ones. Where was it here? Yeah, 1990, 2000. So it only pulled back, I guess it was still quite a bit, 83%, but it only took, that was in 2000, and we hit a new all-time high in 2005. So it actually only took Apple 5 years to recover, but the whole sector, like the whole big tech industry, took about a decade. And Apple actually almost went bankrupt in 1997 if Microsoft didn't invest $150 million. But my point is it took about, the whole industry took about a decade to start to see new all-time highs across the board. So if we take a look at a name like Tilray, well, that's probably not the best example. Let's look at CGC because it's one of the OGs in the space and have been trading for forever. So if technically we hit an all-time high in 2018, we haven't hit a new all-time high since. So how long has it been? It has now been 6 years. So it's not a decade from today. It's really only about, 3 or 4 years, and we could see MJ all hitting new all-time highs again, right? The ones that weather the storm are going to reap the rewards, right? So it's looking good. A little bit of a tangent there, but I think the psychology is very important, right? And like Apple almost went bankrupt. If it not for Microsoft giving them $150 million in 1997, they weren't selling Schedule I illegal drugs, right? They were just in a highly disruptive, new emerging, burgeoning industry, and super disruptive industry, but they weren't illegal, right? It's just there's so much growth ahead. It's not even funny. And if these companies are doing okay now and they're on the verge of profitability, some are already profitable. Well, what's the average number of companies in the U.S. in the MJ industry that are profitable? Most are in the U.S., but I would say maybe 5 to 10% of the whole industry is profitable, right? And that's selling Schedule I federally illegal drugs in the U.S., right? Like, it's people don't understand how much growth we have ahead of us, and how, like, obviously we're not going to be on Amazon. We're not going to be valued, like, you're not going to see Curaleaf or Tilray valued at $3 trillion. It's going to be maybe $300 billion, right? But that's still the opportunity of, like, that's like 300x on Tilray. If Tilray hits 200 to 300 billion market cap in the next couple of decades, that's about a 200 to 300x opportunity, right? So get ready. Where are we at here? Trump supporting Florida will boost that percentage higher, in my opinion. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. What if, as soon as it happens, we see massive mergers with LPs and MSOs and big tobacco and alcohol buying MJ companies? Thoughts? Good AM Finance. Yeah, so absolutely. I've been saying that for a while now as well. As soon as we get rescheduling, that's going to change the stigma, because Kevin O'Leary even said it. He was looking at a company, a MJ company with a great ROI out of Vermont, I think it was. He didn't say the name, but he said he wanted to get involved, and then his lawyer told him he was effing crazy. It's on the same schedule as heroin, so he can't touch the stuff. So once it gets rescheduled, you start to get the floodgates open from the hedge funds and the big wigs like, Kevin O'Leary and these huge, billion-dollar investors. They're going to come in. Then you got all these fiduciary duties and things like that from all these companies. You can't you're not going to please your shareholders if you're getting into a Schedule 1 substance, right? So yeah, big companies are going to come. You're going to see MSOs become LPs, LPs become MSOs. You're already seeing it. Curaleaf already acquired Northern Green Canada, an operator here in Canada. So now they're essentially dual. And Canopy acquired acreage, or is in the process of acquiring acreage. I think they said spring 2025 should be completed. So they're already becoming an MSO. Look at SNDL and Sunstream. And look at Tilray launching hemp Delta-9 beverages in the U.S., in Texas, and New Jersey to start. But they'll probably do 25 states soon, just like Curaleaf. So essentially, they're already operating in the U.S., right, under their beverage category. But they have their hemp business as well, and then their Manitoba Harvest, and they're going to have their Delta-9 formulation soon. And then eventually, you're going to have a rescheduling to Schedule 3. You'll have medical channels. Like, yeah, we're going to see major mergers. That's when we'll see the blue chip phase, in my opinion. And then, yeah, we'll see big investment from other, incumbents and big tobacco, big alcohol, big pharma. Definitely. Anthony in the house, I'm glad to hear it. Trump, RFK, Tulsa, and Vance. I think this will definitely put him over the top in the election. Yeah, well, again, not to get political, I'm from Canada. Again, I don't care who wins. I just want what's best for MJ, but I would agree. I think they have the best chance now. Unless the Dems pull something out of their, and get some kind of crypto legislation and really start to pump MJ. I don't know. It's hard to say. But one thing's for sure, the fight is going to be on to pump MJ into the elections for sure now that Trump is backing. Because that was like the only thing that they had going for them, really, on the other side of the aisle. And now, look how quickly, like I said, look how quickly Trump did a 180 on crypto to absolutely loving it. So it happens quick. All right, going to start wrapping it up. So Monday should test 667 on MSOS. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that bear flag. So yeah, MSOS daily time frame. That's the level to break. So that's the daily bear flag to negate it. So 667. I think we'll test it. I think we'll probably get ahead of it, to be honest. But yeah, if we don't, then that's key resistance rejected, and then it's all about 599, lose 599, and then we're going to 512 probably based on that measured move. But again, don't hate the messenger, hate the messenger. I'm just the messenger, right? So I don't think that's the most likely scenario, though, unless we had some big macroeconomic news and the S&P 500 was down like 5% or something, 2 to 5% on Tuesday, and we have headwinds from the broader market and fear in the market. Who knows? Again, MSOS is a bear flag and SPY is a daily bull flag. So if anything, I think we'll probably negate it and get some tailwinds from the broader market. Oh, we got a POW member in the house. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. We got Mr. Mankey as well. I don't speak that language, so not familiar with the handle, but thank you for being a member. I really appreciate it, Mr. Mankey as well. MSOX is killed me. We must go up. Yeah, that's why you want to be careful with MSOX, right? It's a double leverage, so it goes down. Looking from the 19th of August to the low there, it was down 43%. So if you're not experienced you don't want to be buying on these lower highs and on the highs, right? You want to be buying the lows, and we're at all-time lows on MSOX. So this is why I don't own an MSOX personally. I just own MSOS. Like, you're in one of the highest risk sectors. There's no reason to take on even more risk, right? So I just be very, very cautious. That's why I own a little bit of MSOS, but I choose the companies myself, right? You're just essentially paying this company a management fee to pick for you, which is fine. But I think it's simple. And again, not telling you to buy, sell, or hold, but for me, it's like Tilray, Curaleaf, High Tide, SNDL, Green Thumb. What's some other names? OGI, Organogram. I think those companies are going to do absolutely fantastic. So owning a little bit of MSOS in there, not a bad idea, but just be careful with those MSOX and those double leverage or high leverage ETFs. Can you rate your favorites? Yeah, so I've done an MJ video. Just go to my MJ portfolio. So if you just go MJ portfolio, my MJ portfolio 2024 update, I give it with percentages, and I'll be doing another one probably at some point in the back half of this year. But my top one is Tilray, Curaleaf. Let me just bring it up here. Do I still have I had it by, and it's changed. I've been adding to some of these names, but let me just, yeah, here it is. So the last update was in February of 2024. So I need to update that one. I've been buying ever since. So yeah, here's my top pick. So Tilray, Curaleaf, and then I had MSOS. I like High Tide, Organogram, SNDL, Canopy, Canara, Cresco, AYR, Green Thumb. The only reason why I don't have Green Thumb higher is because it's more fairly valued, right? It's like an IPR. I don't think you're gonna see like life-changing wealth from a Green Thumb, but it's more safe, right? It's less risk, less reward. But yeah, I think they'll do well. But honestly, I don't hear too many people talking about their products, but Cresco, I hear their products are pretty good, and Curaleaf as well. I've got a bigger position now on Oxley. I actually sold my CWeb, so that's updated. I have a small position on Aurora. MedMen went bankrupt, so I only had 1% of my portfolio into that. So I lost that investment. But that's why you only do 1%, right, of these high-risk names. And TAT, I actually liquidated that one as well. So yeah, I'll have to do another update, and I added some, like Abacana. I added Abacana. There was a few others that I added as well. And the percentages are definitely changed. They have definitely changed. So yeah, my top are Tilray, Curaleaf, High Tide, Organogram, SNDL. And I'll have to check where MSOS sits now. I think I own more High Tide and OGI and SNDL now, percentage-wise, than I do MSOS. But I still hold more crypto dollar-wise than I do MJ. But that should change here leading into alt season. So hopefully that helps. But I'll do another video here. I was actually planning to do one maybe today or in the next couple of weeks, months at the latest. I'll definitely do another one before the end of the year on my MJ portfolio update. Another 10 years, I won't have a single hair left on my head. Oh, so again, I said 10 years from the last all-time high. It's already been 6, so it's about 3 or 4 years where we could see new all-time highs. So glad I made it to the stream. Absolutely. So glad to have you, Mr. Mankey. Thanks for being a member as well. Good to be here, pal. I was talking about this yesterday, and I feel like I called it. Absolutely. I mentioned it as well in my video. The hearing could be a positive thing, that video. I mentioned we should see an update, and I mentioned it in my Anthony Martinelli video with the MJ Herald interview. Why would he say I have an announcement on schedule or on Amendment 3 and a Florida announcement if he was going to say, oh, no, I don't support it, right? Obviously, he was going to say he supports it. Like it wouldn't make any other sense. David Ben's in the house. Come on, Rod. Let's get political. Trump jumped ahead on crypto, IVF, and now MJ. Yeah. Well, you're not wrong. I just try not to ruffle any feathers. That's all. It means Tomer? Yeti, Yedid, yeah. According to Google Transit, it's Hebrew. Okay, cool. Thanks. Good to know. Appreciate it, other side. I wish $150 Tilray. Yeah. I think we can get back to $100. I mean, we hit $67 in the high of February 2021 just on the hopes of U.S. legalizing. So, yeah, I think $100 is realistic. Just how long is it going to take? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? I think it'll happen a lot quicker than most think. But yeah, getting up to around $100 would put us somewhere around the just north of 100 billion market cap. So I think it's possible. Sorry, just jumped in. What happened? Great news happened, Frank. We got Trump supporting Florida legalization, but wants to ban public smoking. So just common sense. So basically, great news and common sense. So we got the residual MedMen assets. Yeah, so that I've done a video on that as well. I think they're going to get like 9 or 11 MedMen stores. So not the end of the world, but yeah, MedMen, unfortunately, if you had shares, they're worthless. I only lost, I think, like maybe $500 to $1,000, but again, it was less. It was about 1% of my whole MJ portfolio. In my opinion, it was worth the risk, but I only lost a very nominal amount, so nothing that I was worried about. So yeah, it's not the end of the world. I still own a boatload of Tilray, and they'll get the 9 to 11 of their stores. Will you add Kronos? I did actually add Kronos. Yeah, I did buy Kron, so that was another name that I added to my portfolio. Let me just take a quick peek, actually. I got an Airbnb booking as well. Somebody who wants to book. So I got to jump off here very soon. But yeah, let me just take a quick peek. I know I added a few. I'll do a video again soon, but just real quickly here. Yeah, I added Avocana, Kron. I added more Green Thumb. Nevis Brands, I added a bit of those. It's a beverage company. I interviewed the CEO. I added Village Farms, VFF. Yeah, I think that's it. But I'll do another video soon. And they call Trump a dictator, the one who actually listens and works for the people. Yeah, I think I actually saw Trump in person when I bought I bought a Lexus in 2012, and I saw him live because since I bought the Lexus, I saw him live in New Brunswick, St. John, New Brunswick, in East Coast Canada, and he was with Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor of New York, and also I forget the guy's name, but he created Eastlink. It's a internet service provider in the East Coast of Canada. I saw all three of them speak, and Trump spoke in 2013. I saw him live. I think it was in 2013. And that was long before he was president. So the guy knows his stuff. He's a businessman at heart, right? And been gone bankrupt multiple times. But yeah, you know, I don't hate the guy. I mean, he says some things that I don't agree with, and you know, I mean, that's just everybody, right? You can't get somebody that's going to please everybody, right? It's just impossible. So I think there's more good than bad for sure. Thanks, Rod. Catch you on the flip side. Absolutely. Frank says, thanks, man. What a great addition to a long weekend. Yeah, you bet. 87K Tilly shares ready to stop averaging down. Yeah, we got a Tilray Will in the house with Frank S. Yeah, absolutely. Kudos to you, though, man. That's a sizable position. So I think you're going to be handsomely rewarded here in the not-too-distant future. All right, thanks, everybody, for joining us on the live stream. It's Rod with Pow Group. Appreciating you joining us again on the Pursuit of Wealth. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your long weekend. Like I said, go grab some MJ products and celebrate. It's risky, but 100% of my portfolio, 5 years and counting since Afria. Thanks for the insights, as always, Rod. Have a good weekend. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, everybody. All right, much love. We'll catch you on the next one. Have a good weekend.